And good evening to you. Welcome to the Wellness Gala Plus series. I'm Teresa D'Angelo, and it is a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday evening here in northern New Jersey. I'm so excited to be with you this evening, and I'm so happy you're choosing to spend a little bit of time with me to learn a little bit more about moving with joy. And this is what I do. I bring movement to people who are healthy, people who are in chronic pain, and people who are living in senior living centers, from memory care clients to independent living. And I love what I do, and I know it makes a big difference in the world. And I'm so excited to bring you tonight one of the modalities that I teach. It's called Ageless Grace. And talk about moving with joy. This is all about moving the body and also moving the mind. Ageless Grace is about brain fitness through the body and mind. It was developed by Denise Medved. And if you're interested in learning more after this, she has a beautiful TED Talk on YouTube that you could look up for Ageless Grace. So tonight I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, brain and body and how we move with this particular modality and what it can do for you. One of the big factors right now, of course, is Alzheimer's, dementia. And maybe you know a loved one who is going through this, maybe somebody in your family or friend. And it could be devastating. It is devastating. So what Ageless Grace does is it helps us to develop better neuroplasticity. And that's about the neurons firing in the brain. It's the connection between the central nervous system and the brain to help rejuvenate and create new neural pathways. And some years back, it was thought that we couldn't create new pathways in our brain. However, neuroscientists talk about neurogenesis and the ability right now, they say not the ability, but the knowledge that the brain controls body function. So it's not only important to do puzzles, crossword puzzles, things like that intellectually to stimulate the brain. It's most effective and important to use the body and the mind together. All right, so a little bit about Ageless Grace. It activates 5 functions of our brain, from strategic planning, right? Figuring out how you do something from point A to point B to point C. It also stimulates memory and recall. Now, memory is remembering something that you did perhaps maybe as a kid or maybe last week. For example, a skateboard. If you were ever to ride a skateboard, you know how that feels in your body. Now, if you never rode a skateboard before, you've seen people do it on TV, you've watched, kids, teens do it maybe in the park. So your memory, your brain has an idea of what skateboarding might be like. Oh, I forgot. Ageless Grace is all about play and fun and creativity. That's how we stimulate firing of the neurons. So we talked about strategic planning, memory and recall, analytical thinking, which you may use when you're putting a recipe together, right? When you're cooking, how much of, this do I use? How much olive oil do I put in? What are the components of your dinner? That's analytical thinking. Then we also have the stimulation of creativity and imagination. So being creative in how we do something and using our imagination to see ourselves doing it before we actually do it, like maybe throwing a pitch. I don't know what that was, but maybe pitching a baseball, right? The imagination, the creativity of how we do that. And then finally, the 5th part of the brain that we stimulate with Ageless Grace, moving with joy, is kinesthetic learning. And if you're like me, you may be one of those people that likes to jump right in and do something before ever reading the directions. And that's how we basically learned as kids, right? We didn't have all the details broken down in steps of how to do something. We jumped in. We saw someone maybe riding a bicycle or playing in the sandbox, and we did it. We followed suit. So those are the 5 functions of ageless, what ageless grace does for the brain. And what I'm going to ask you to do this evening, before we jump into the example, is to put your little kid cap on. It's meant to be playful. It's meant to be silly. And over the years, we can lose that play, and everything becomes so serious in life. So this brings back, our adventure, our play and stimulation. And I can tell you myself, from being an educator in this practice and a trainer, I train other people how to teach this. I can tell you that I feel more alert. I feel more creative with what I do in everyday life. And my classes certainly, follow suit. People, since COVID hit in March, we've had people on Zoom coming to Ageless Grace classes, and they really love it. And they continue because it is fun, it's engaging. And I don't know about you, but I can't do any kind of exercise that is boring. I need to do something that's very stimulating and fun for me so it can come back again and again. This program is meant to be done 10 minutes a day, only 10 minutes. That's all we need to get the neurons firing, so you don't have to, give up 4 hours every day. Now, the unique part about this program is it's done in a chair. And you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I sit enough, I'm on Zoom all the time, right? But the reason we do it in a chair is because moving the body in the chair definitely activates the core region, the core muscles of the body that we may not be activating in other exercise. It also stimulates the vital organs, the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the adrenals, right? So we can take deeper breaths. We can get more oxygen into our body and into our brain. And it's also done in a chair because the brain needs to figure out how to do something that you might do on your feet in a chair. For example, if we're doing, surfboarding, right? Standing up, we have to figure out how we're going to imitate surfboarding in a chair. Did you like that? That's my Hawaii move here, the surfboard. And then we also do Ageless Grace in a chair, not because people can't get out of the chair and stand up. That is not the reason at all. It's because it also level sets the class. So in a class in person or on Zoom, we're at the same playing field. We're on the same field, and all people of all ages and abilities can do this. And I just wanted to note that Ageless Grace can be done for kids as well. There's a great kids program out there for teachers, and which is great for right now. So we're going to begin. And I'd like you to get a comfortable chair, one that doesn't have wheels because you don't want you slip sliding. And you can kick your shoes off if you have any shoes on. And preferably a chair with handles is what we use, but this one is totally fine for the demonstration if you have one without handles. And again, I'm going to ask you to be playful, be silly. We're going to sound a little bit also to get oxygen to the brain. And I'm going to demonstrate 3 of the tools in this practice for you in moving with joy this evening. And the first one we're going to do is called Juicy Joints. If you've been sitting most of the day, you may feel really good after this. So we're going to move our head around and our eyes. the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, and the fingers. We're going to move the major joints, the hips, the knees, the feet and the toes. And that should take care of a good part of our body this evening. So I'm going to put some music on and let's get to it. And hopefully that sound mix is just right for you to hear. So we're going to start with a little hand tap. And tap your feet a little bit, or at least one foot. And just let the day go. Push it away. It's all done now. If you're on the East Coast, you can push it back with your hands. All right, now we're going to bring it into the elbows. Remember, we're just juicing up the joints right now. So play with your elbows. Oh, I forgot to tell you. You don't have to follow me at all. This is organic. It's the way your body wants to do it. So let's poke something with your elbows. Yeah. Ooh, now you can poke it back. Feel those beautiful shoulder blades. Yeah. You can take them together. Ready for the hips. Here we go. Into the hips and rock it. Yeah. Woo! Rocking back and forth. You can also roll around a little bit, rotate. All right, knees, here we come. Stretch them out. You can flex your foot or point it. All right, stretch it out. And then I'd like you to leave your feet out, up if you can, or on the floor. With your big toe, draw a circle and look at it. You can take your eyes off the screen and just watch your feet for a moment. Drawing that circle. So nice to have you here this evening, really. All right, let's put the feet back down. Final move for this one. We're going to look around with our eyes. Looking back of you, above you, look at your space, below you. Look behind your shoulder. Uh-oh, who's there? All right, shake that one off. That was juicy joints. Now, we're going to come into something called Team Fit. And this is about imagining that we're doing maybe sports, or tonight we're going to imagine that we're at a carnival. We're at a carnival. And we have many activities at the carnival, so you can get that hula hoop. Step into that hula hoop. Remember the hula hoop? Let's take it around. I used to have one that had beads in it, and it would go whoosh, whoosh. You hear the beads moving around. So take your hips in that hula hoop. All directions, yes. Now you can put that hula hoop on one foot too. One arm. You ever see the hoopsters, the hula hoopsters? They're so creative. How about the other foot with the hula hoop, hand with the hula hoop? Can you keep it going on your belly? Let's go to another carnival event. Take the hula hoop off. Let's go play some skee ball. Right, we're going to play some skee ball. Maybe you've gone to the Jersey Shore to play skee ball. Get it in that middle, in that bullseye. I think it's 50 points. We're using the muscle, right? And this one, Team Fit. All right, that's a little sample, and we have one more to go. This one is fantastic for activating those 5 functions of the brain we talked about for neuroplasticity. And it's called gentle geometry. So sit back in your chair, take one foot. How about your left foot? I'll mirror you. And we're going to make a triangle with that left foot. That's pretty easy, right? Maybe easy. We're going to up the ante a little bit, and we're going to take the opposite hand and draw a horizontal line while you're doing that triangle. Now the trick here is to keep going. We want to fire the neurons with this program, Brain Fitness. Yeah. Oh my goodness, see what's happening? Let's try the other side. Triangle with the foot. Of course, you can use any kind of music, your favorites, right? 10 minutes a day. That's all it takes. Yeah. And try to keep that triangle with your foot while you're moving your hand horizontally. And it may not be going well, but that's the point. We're not really supposed to get this, because we want to make it a little complex for the brain. All right, if you got it, I guess you're a super genius. Okay, see what happened to mine? It's not even a triangle anymore. All right, shake it off a little bit. That was probably about a little less than 10 minutes, maybe 8.5 minutes or so. And take a moment to breathe in. Reaching up, and exhale. You want to take some nice deep breaths. So let's put one foot in front as you lean over for stability. Breathe it up. Let out a big sigh for your day. And breathe it up again. One of our tools is also called breathing out, breathe out loud. And you can sing and make sounds, right? Because normally, most people during the day will breathe more shallowly. And that doesn't allow good, fresh oxygen to come into the cells of the body and also to the brain. So when we inhale, exhale long, that's a way to get more oxygen into the brain. Another way to do that is pretend you're blowing out a little candle on a cupcake. Take little puffs. Or maybe you have a big cake, depending on your age, with a lot of candles. And blow out all those candles. Noticing the natural exhale so you can take in the oxygen. That is just a tidbit of moving with joy. How do you feel after that? Let me know in the comments. I'd be very interested to hear your experience. I know for me, this program is so joyful. It's one of the many that I teach. And if you'd like to find out more, you can go to wellnessgala.com and look up the directory, Teresa D'Angelo, Live, Love, Move. And you can read a little bit more about these practices that are so vital, to our health, our body and brain health. And if there's someone you love who can benefit, please tell them about it too. And wellnessgala.com, this is the Plus series. I'm so glad you joined me tonight. Thank you so, so much for being here. I hope you feel better and have a wonderful evening. Take care. Be safe.